or old favorites, come to Misfits for a great food experience. It's classic Italian with a modern twist. Misfits Dine and Drink, 200 Heritage Parkway off Highway 90 in Broussard.
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Karen Crow Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up!
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys! Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros bounced back in their series with the Toronto Blue Jays with a 7-2 win last night in Space City. On the mound, Hayden Wesneski put together a solid performance, going 6 innings and only allowing 2 runs on 4 hits with 4 strikeouts. The Astros and the Blue Jays will meet again today for the rubber match, and it'll be Dylan Cease on the mound for Toronto versus Hunter Brown for the Astros. First pitch is at 1:10 this afternoon, and you can listen to it right here on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. The college football preseason coaches poll was released yesterday, and as expected, the top 5 is dominated by the Big Ten and the SEC. The top 5 in order goes Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Notre Dame, with LSU and first-year head coach Lane Kiffin sitting just outside of the top 10 at number 13. Keeping with LSU, who officially begins practice today, several Tigers have been named to preseason award watch list. Offensive lineman Jordan Seaton has been named to the Outland Trophy watch list, and on the defensive side of the ball, linebacker Whit Weeks and defensive end Prince Will Umamielen have been named to the Nagurski watch list. And Louisiana native and horse racing legend Robbie Alvarado passed away yesterday at the age of 52. Alvarado was one of the most accomplished jockeys of his generation, winning more than 5,000 races during his career. He also became one of the greatest riders in Churchill Downs history, ranking 4th all-time in wins at the track with 1,192 victories. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome into Footnotes. You are listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles on this Wednesday as we broadcast live from the Bill and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette. Bill and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown attorneys. If you would like to get in, there was a lot of gnashing of teeth over the Astros' lack of activity and discussion, and the Yankees and the Braves, and had a lot of that going on yesterday. And so if you have any other thoughts on that or looking forward to any football issues, then we have no guests in the first hour. Now, we do have 2 guests in the second hour, our weekly conversation with Dawson. And also, I want to bring on our horse racing expert because of the awful news yesterday that Robbie Alvarado passed away, which you just heard again at the top of the break. And Mr. Tom, as always, gets us caught up with horse racing, and he can give way more perspective than I can about Robbie Alvarado as a jockey in his place. Obviously, he's in that long line of South Louisiana jockeys that have been very successful at the national and international level. So we'll be talking horse racing because it's bad news that we're discussing rather than, a horse trying to win a Triple Crown or something like that. Man, I needed last night's game. Look, last night's game does not fix any issues. Last night's game does not clear up why they couldn't trade a nobody like everyone else does and get, a middle reliever or starting pitch. It just makes you feel better when you win, and when you have a punch in the gut trade deadline day and you lose that game. I was so angry. There were so many things that were so awful about Monday's loss, and I gave several of them the fact that Sanchez played a role and all of that stuff. The other thing is, for a team that leads the major league in hit batsmen and walks, they didn't walk a batter Monday, and they lost 3-1. Oh, just added to the disgust of the situation. The series took a way different turn in the bottom of the third. Trey Savage, who had thrown 2 shutout or no-hit innings to start the game, left the game. I don't know what he did. He was coming out to warm up for the third, and something happened, and they pulled him. So that kind of changed things. At that point, you got to bring a guy in Dallas, and he did nothing but throw balls, and the Astros did nothing but swing at him. I mean, there was a stretch there where he threw 12 straight balls, and the Astros swung at 8 of them. I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. They're going to blow this opportunity. Well, it turns out that they didn't. We were talking yesterday about how Trammell rounded the bases on a home run that was caught. Well, he hit one.
Yeah.
He didn't, it went about 8 rows up, so he didn't have to worry about that. He didn't hit it nearly as far as the one that was caught. That's the Piper that people don't believe in. But it was a great Taylor Trammell. I am now at the beginning of the year said I don't even want him on the team. He's done enough, and he's added a power stroke to his game that he's never had before. So I'm perfectly fine with Taylor Trammell being a backup, an occasional starter. If you want to platoon a little bit and you want to start him 1 or 2 times a week, and he'll be a backup, I'm okay with that now. I don't really want him being my everyday starter, but he has played pretty well. And one thing he's added to his game, he's starting to walk a lot. Like his on-base percentage in the last week or so is really good. So I appreciate what he's done. And he seems like a good guy. He fits in the clubhouse, all that stuff. So in addition to that, all of a sudden the Blue Jays decide they're going to go to a 6-man rotation. And the Astros were supposed to face Savage last night, and he threw 2 no-hit innings and then left with an injury. They were supposed to face Dylan Cease today against Hunter Brown. Well, they changed that, and now Jameson Taillon, who they traded for on Monday, is now starting today's game. Now, they've had mixed results with Jameson Taillon over the years. I can remember a game or 2 where he totally dominated, and I can remember a game or 2 where the Astros roughed him up. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's his first game with a new team. No one knows what's going to happen with there. But either way, Jameson Taillon is not better than Dylan Cease. So, you would think the Astros have the advantage in that point. It's baseball. Anything can happen. We understand that. But I feel a little better about trying to win the series. You remember yesterday, I'm like, I'll take 2 and 4 this week. So if they can win this afternoon, that's my 2 wins already. And then if I could just get 1 win in San Diego, I'm good. Because I think the Padres are fixing to be really good. Like, they didn't hit all season. Remember, it was, a month ago or 2 months ago, we were talking about how Tatis had done nothing and Machado had done nothing. Their offense has been miserable. So they're really due to hit, and they're starting to hit, and then they really helped themselves out at the trade deadline because their owner is like riverboat gambler, and he just goes for it. So it is it just makes you feel better. today to get a win. If they had lost again, it would have been bad for me. It'd have been really bad. The brightest spot of the day, first of all, I keep mentioning this, but the Astros scored 6 more. They won 7-2 last night. They scored 6 more 2-out runs. They lead the major leagues in 2-out runs. I mean, it's just unbelievable what they've done with that this year. But the 7th one, guess what happened? They had the third base coach got Varsho thrown out of the play. And by the way, Varsho's done absolutely nothing. It's just 2 games, but he looks, so far through 2 games, he looks about like I thought he would. Not very good, but hopefully he can pick it up soon. It's just 2 games. They got him thrown out of the plate, so the runner's at third with 1 out, and the Astros actually got a single up the middle. I'd rather him hit the ball into the outfield, but look, I'm not going to be picky. A single up the middle by none other than Jose Altuve. I mean, like, you got to be kidding me. So what a great victory. You got a runner home from third with less than 2 outs, and it was Jose Altuve. But still, the best part was Hayden Wesneski. And as angry as I was yesterday, and still bitterly disappointed what the Astros did at the trade deadline, I am a glass overflow fan. And here's how I'm capable of spinning it. This is how I can spin things in my mind to at least try to fool myself between now and maybe the end of the season. If Hayden Wesneski pitches good, can you look at it this way? At least I'm going to kind of help myself do that. If they had traded for someone who wasn't high profile like the Braves did with Molly, and he came in and he pitched the way that Hayden Wesneski pitched last night in his first start, because his both starts he looked pretty good. So if they brought some guy in who's a little bit of an under the radar type starting pitcher at the trade deadline, and he did what Hayden Wesneski did his first 2 starts, we'd be pretty encouraged, right?
Yeah, no, that'd be a solid. You'd be pretty happy.
No, I didn't really think about this guy. No one was talking about him, but he's done okay.
Yeah.
And so maybe Wesneski, if he can continue to do similar to this. By the way, it's the new Astro way of doing it. They've had a lot, and most of it's been Peter Lambert. But like 6 innings, 2 runs. Like they've had a lot, and almost all of it's been Peter Lambert. But they've had a lot when they don't get very many good starts. But when they get a quality start, it's been a lot of 6 innings, 2 runs.
Yeah, it ain't ever going to be more than 6 innings.
And now Hunter gave him 7 2 starts ago, which was good. But you're right, mostly. But even last night, one of the things I liked about Wesneski is he only threw 78 pitches. So he could have gone another inning.
Yeah.
I mean, he only threw 78 pitches. But the beauty is he only threw 78 pitches. Like, he was able to get through 6 innings on 78 pitches. You know, Imai and Burrows, I mean, they're at 100 through 5 if they don't get lit and pulled in the first or second inning. And so that was encouraging. And I think the reason why they did that is because they do have an off day on Thursday, and I guess you might as well just kind of keep guys sharp.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, there's no reason to stress him. We're comfortable where we are. We don't need to, try to prove something having him go 7 innings, 8 innings.
So after playing home run derby on Monday, how many runs did the Yankees and the Cardinals score yesterday?
Dose.
I don't know why that happened.
Both by the Yankees. Pretty sure it was 2-0.
Yeah.
We had the next minor league prospect we called up. That's a wonderkin, and hopefully he actually pans out, unlike Dominguez and Volpe, and it's not just a super hot start. And then
unlike, I think that's his father. Like his father, we heard about him forever, and he never did anything. He was like one of the failed prospect guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Yankees, we've had plenty of guys come up and they have a big, debut, Jason Dominguez. I mean, that's the main one I think of, and Volpe, honestly. And then they just kind of peter out. So we need that to not happen, because I like Lombard.
Well, We'll see what happens. Scooble pitched last night, pitched well, but got the loss. And the Punks have now lost 5 in a row, 7 of 9, and 12 of their last 20 games. And are they the 3 seed? Right now, I think at the playoff ends, I think they're the 3 seed. Now, I just don't know how much seed matters in baseball. I really don't. Unless, there are a few teams here and there that are much better at home than they are on the road. That does exist. So if you're one of those teams, I guess seed matters. But I think teams lose home playoff games in baseball all the time. And so I don't know how much it matters. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if everyone's going to treat him like the Wrigley fans did, but they were booing that cat. They said the minute he got out of the dugout, they were booing him.
It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop.
I hope that's everywhere he goes, unless he reacts to it like the Astros did when they got booed, which is, I'm going to show you.
They became more Darth Vader. And they went more evil. We don't need Scooble to do that.
Well, no, we don't. But I thought he gave very pompous answers.
Yeah.
I've never thought anything about Scooble, but I dislike him way more after hearing his interviews than I did before. Like way more, because people are still missing the point about all of that. But anyway,
look, if the Dodgers are going to let him do it, the Dodgers aren't going to stop doing it. It's just as simple as that. But
it has nothing to do with. It's not about being mad at the Dodgers. It's about why trade with them.
Yeah,
because the Dodgers are just a bunch of swindlers.
I wonder. I want to see what the other trades were for him.
They just cheat the system. The Dodgers are where the cheaters were in the NFL in the 90s. They're skirting around every little rule they can possibly skirt around, and they're just always. It's like they never just stand up and fight. They're like always going around getting this trick and this little deal and that little deal and get this advantage.
They never fight fair.
It's all and we're gonna pay guys for 100 years and then they say they're gonna make. Oh, this guy's gonna be good. They're used car salesmen. That's what they are. They're like the richest used car salesman ever. That's what the Punks are. Then we just praise him. Well, again, and we need to stop this, but it's like, if your system is so good, then how come you never trade a good player, and how come you got to go steal players from other people to fix up your lineup? I thought your system was so good.
And with the amount of trades that they've done, how is their farm system still as plentiful to keep making these trades?
Well, it's not. That's my point. They say that. It's a big charade because, this guy's their 5th-rated player, and you trade for him, and he does nothing because they never trade anyone who's any good.
I would like to see in all of the trades that they've made, what throughout the past couple years in this empire building.
I read off like the last 7 or 8 years. I came up with like 4 players.
What the other trades that were offered were.
Well, yeah.
And what the value of those players became.
I think it's just a scam. They're just the greatest used car scam ever.
I think Manfred's in on it.
And they keep getting away with it. And it's not their fault. Like, it's not the used car salesman's fault that you buy their car. But stop. Don't even go there because you're going to get swindled. Take a time out and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The gold standard has arrived. New Drew Brees rewrote the NFL record books, and he's helped lead the Saints to the Super Bowl victory. Now, number 9 will slip on the gold jacket. He'll have his bronze bust revealed and immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. RP3, D-Lo, and Mesh will be there to witness it all with a 3-hour special. Tune in this Friday. That's just 2 days ago from now. Already from noon to 3 for the gold standard, presented by Bill and Abe Arcady and his hometown lawyers right here on ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station.
Do you need more of the fellas here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station? Of course you do. So go make sure and subscribe to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA. Don't forget to turn that bell on so you get notifications for new episodes of Fort Tire Change Podcast, where Dawson Iserlo talks all things NASCAR, or Cleats and Sneaks with James Mesh. Get yourself more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station at ESPN_SWLA on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
MeTV is America's #1 classic entertainment television network. And here's one of the reasons everybody loves MeTV.
Oh, it's a classic.
The great comedy lineup on weeknights.
This will be fun. Come on.
With MASH.
Loaded with snappy comebacks.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I was just funning with Barney.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now we got a show.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the LHSAA, are the 110,000 high school sports students in Louisiana. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
Are you fluent in Footlish? Probably not, but not to worry. We're here to help with the Footlish Dictionary. Benedict Arnold's.
1, 2, 3.
A division foe of the Saints who stole a bunch of Saints players and reminds Kevin of the 18th century military officer, also known as the Carolina Panthers. Now, back to the man with his very own language, Kevin Foote and Footnotes on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, certainly feel free. 706-0111. All right, so we've got some more baseball to get to, but man, what in the world is going on in the NFC South? What's his name? Nick Skelton, linebacker from the Arnolds, hurt first day of practice, out for the year. Brian Brzee hurt first day of practice, out for the year. And now Jalen Walker is hurt. Sounds like he might be out for the year. Outside linebacker, pass rusher from the Falcons. So, I mean, it's been. And then, you know, the Yucks haven't had like this guy, key starter, is out for the year, especially on defense, like the theme is happening. But, they've had their little Baker Mayfield squabble and all that stuff. So it's just been a weird start to training camp for these teams with these defense players / pass rushers defensive front 7 guys getting hurt for the year, all in the same division. Just kind of strange. But we'll see how that plays out. Maybe the Falcons will be doing the injury bug thing like the Saints have been doing for it wasn't as bad last year, but the previous few years. We'll see how that plays out. You never know, but it is it's just kind of bizarre, and it changes things, especially since their other one is their other outside. They went for it to try to improve their sack totals, and they did. They got a lot more sacks last year, but now one of them's out for the year, and the other one's, got legal issues, and he's kind of volatile. You never really know what he's going to do. And so we all believe the Falcons have a core of talent, no question, but they got a lot of question marks, and maybe they're going to be fighting the injury bug. At least so far, it seems that way. They've got 2 injured quarterbacks, or at least 2 quarterbacks with serious injury histories. And so it's going to be interesting to monitor them as it goes on. All right, let us head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Good morning, Foot.
How you been, man? I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I always tune in, but I don't always get a chance to call in because I'm pretty busy. But man, my juices are flowing right now. We're getting into training camp, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm hearing some of the reports and whatnot about the Saints and all these other teams. I just so happened to catch the Nina Kimes podcast on YouTube. Nina Kimes from ESPN, and she did a dual podcast with Greg Rosenthal, and they did an NFC South preview, which was pretty good. So I urge all you listeners to go and check it out, man. They pretty much give a pretty much in-depth look at the whole division, team by team, and they actually picked the Saints to win the division, but they give the reasons why and whatnot. So
a lot of national people are starting to realize how good the Saints, how improved the Saints depth chart is. A lot of national people are. Yes.
Yeah, man. I mean, that when that betting line swings one way, they got to even it out. So they got,
which is good and bad. I'd rather them continue to ignore the Saints. I mean, and think and say spot all that propaganda that they hear, or how bad everybody is and all that. I wish they would just keep doing that. I think it's a little easier that way. But no, again, I still think my number one concern right now is the kicker.
I heard the kickers are doing really well. I mean, one missed kick by each of them through 5
Charlie
days in training camp.
Charlie Smith is now. Last year he missed 3 or 4 from the 40s. He missed the 44. Can't be missing 40-something yard kicks.
No, not at all.
Can't miss him.
Now the other guy, is he a rookie?
Yeah, he came from the UFL, and he missed a really short one. He's got the big boomer legs, so, man, I hope he can. I really want him to show some consistency and win the job, because I don't trust Charlie Smith. And I hope, I just need one of them. If we get to where so much of the team is better and we lose games because they can't make routine kicks, I just – it's going to be a rough fall for me if that happens. I'm going to be just so angry. That's my biggest concern, the kicker.
Okay, but I had a couple concerns, and I think it's kind of ironic that I think the thing is going to play out the way it is losing Polk was a concern for me. Even though we hadn't seen him, we saw flashes in OTAs and the little clips that they did show. You could see a burst. You could see he had some juice. And, but on the flip side, that's giving opportunity to the young guys that we drafted in Barry Brown and Bryce Lance, more opportunities to make plays on the field. And I'm wondering, that's just me, I'm wondering if this guy Polk said, hey, man, we got 13 guys in this room. That's pretty unorthodox for an NFL team, even any regular NFL team standards, to have 13 to 14 guys in the wide receiver room. So, you got to think this guy's like, hey, man, what's really going on here? Are we playing musical chairs? Am I wasting my time? I'd rather just go ahead and retire, but that's just my take. But it will open up some spots for those guys to keep shining, and Marion Brown is making a name for himself. And then also the Brian Brzee, injury is gonna make way for, Christian Miller to get some early playing time. So, and I think that'll bode well for his development, long term for this defense. So, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. Again, it's just training camp. I'm looking forward to this weekend with Drew Brees going into the Hall of Fame. That'll be a pretty good moment. And those festivities are going to be on a Saturday, correct?
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to tune in, man. But yeah, I'm just excited, man. And,
I'm excited. I'm trying not to. I'm listening to all the same stuff you are, and I'm trying not to get too excited again. I'm more worried about the kicker than anything, and I do think it is going to be interesting to see how the wide receiver depth chart plays out. But I kind of think they're just going to play 5 wide receivers because they have all these tight ends. I mean, they're even talking about Monteveo, the 7th-round pick from last year, is playing well. They actually may have 4 tight ends on this team.
And you know what? Speaking of him, when I listen to these player interviews, I like to listen to the player interviews from the standpoint that you get to hear inside information from the guys that are in the locker room, that are on the field. And when you hear players like Noah Fant call out Monteveo's name, that's something real. That's not a reporter on the sideline saying, this is one of his peers saying, hey, man, this guy is massive, and he catches the ball really well. You know what I'm saying? So that's somebody that hadn't even been on the team.
Yeah,
but for one offseason.
They've never had this kind of depth at tight end, no question. Well, it's great hearing from you again. Hang in there.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care. I was thinking, he brought up the wide receiver situation. Sometimes we just look at it as talent, and I was thinking what the Saints need to do is they're going to probably, I would think, keep at least 2 on the practice squad, and I don't know if they're going to keep a 6 wide receiver or not. I don't know if they will. But they need to have someone that can back up. You can't have all the same kind of receivers. Like, somebody's got to be able to back up Vele if he gets hurt, and I'm worried Vele's going to get hurt because he plays so physical. He's not a finesse receiver. He is a physical receiver who throws his body all over the place to catch the ball. And so I'm worried that he's going to get hurt. And so whoever that 6th receiver is going to be, even if you keep him or you put him on the practice squad, I think, it might need to be someone who is not necessarily the next best receiver, but the next best replacement for Vele if he gets hurt. And I think they might need to start thinking that. We'll see how it all plays out. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros bounced back in their series with the Toronto Blue Jays with a 7-2 win last night in Space City. On the mound, Hayden Wesneski put together a solid performance, going 6 innings and only allowing 2 runs on 4 hits with 4 strikeouts. The Astros and the Blue Jays will meet again today for the rubber match, and it'll be Dylan Cease on the mound for Toronto versus Hunter Brown for the Astros. First pitch is at 1:10 this afternoon, and you can listen to it right here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. The college football preseason coaches poll was released yesterday, and as expected, the top 5 is dominated by the Big Ten and the SEC. The top 5 in order goes Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Notre Dame, with LSU and first-year head coach Lane Kiffin sitting just outside of the top 10 at number 13. Keeping with LSU, who officially begins practice today, several Tigers have been named to preseason award watch list. Offensive lineman Jordan Seaton has been named to the Outland Trophy watch list, and on the defensive side of the ball, linebacker Whit Weeks and defensive end Prince Will Umamielen have been named to the Nagurski watch list. And Louisiana native and horse racing legend Robbie Alvarado passed away yesterday at the age of 52. Alvarado was one of the most accomplished jockeys of his generation, winning more than 5,000 races during his career. He also became one of the greatest riders in Churchill Downs history, ranking 4th all-time in wins at the track with 1,192 victories. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Drew Brees set a new standard for quarterback play, and now the Saints legend will be immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. RP3, D'Lo, and Mesh will be there for this historic occasion with a special 3-hour live broadcast from Canton, Ohio. Tune in Friday, August 7th for the Gold Standard. Presented by Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers, right here on ESPN, 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The heart of Acadiana is its local businesses, the people, families, and companies that help our communities thrive. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Candyland Cottage is the place to satisfy all your cravings. Find delicious ice creams, fresh fudges, truffles, hot dogs, sausage po' boys, Frito pies, and homemade shakes. Visit us in Scott and Rain for a sweet treat. Plan your next birthday party or field trip at Candyland Cottage.
Shop local, support local. Certified South Louisiana.
Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at LouisianaGunShop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more.
Do you know how many tax resolution firms have been forced to close because they were taking advantage of people or have gone out of business? It happens all the time. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. As a matter of fact, they're national tax relief companies that are currently under court orders to cease operations. So if you have IRS issues, do not fall for the threats and scare tactics of the national so-called tax relief companies. The Bryson Law Firm has been doing this for decades. We have a AAA BBB rating, and our entire focus is IRS problems and tax liability issues. An IRS problem is a legal problem. Let the Bryson Law Firm help you get relief the right way. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Don't put it off any longer. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSB filing number LA2519684.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit GoVote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
You're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the Houston Astros.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you'd like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, 706-0111, certainly feel free to do so. All right, here's a I've heard from Rays that they offered one of their top prospects for Skubal. We heard from Brewers media that they did. And now we're hearing from Braves media. This tweet out, it says the Braves were in on the Tarek Skubal. They made some of their top prospects available, but the Tigers never presented an offer. that would get it done. It seemed like it was always going to be the Dodgers. And that's a typical that's why I call them the punks, because it's okay if you're going to swindle people, but don't come out and well, anybody could have made this trade. No, I don't think anybody could have made this trade. Any team could have gone out there and made a trade. Same thing with the Astros, which is why I originally called them the punks. The Dodgers were sign stealing and had their own little schemes working too. And so they're going to come out because someone else, because they lost. I mean, it wasn't like all the games were high scoring in that series. They played some low scoring games, and they got beat twice in L.A. And so and then you're going to come out and act like you don't sign skills. I mean, that's just a punk move. And it looks like all that junk that Scooble's saying and that the national media is saying, it's typical punk moves. And punk, that might be they might be more punks than the cheaters were cheaters, and that's hard to do because, man, did they cheat in the 90s and 80s. All right, let us head back to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Hey, Kevin, you attended the media day for Cajun football yesterday, didn't you? And asked some questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. My question on that is, well, let me preface this. I went to YouTube and I watched every comment, and I watched Coach Dez's comments twice. See if I can pick up anything beyond the normal coach speak about, to evaluate the team. Beyond the coach speak, what was your perceptions of what can you tell me beyond the coach speak that might be perceptive of what I can expect this year?
Well, I thought there was a little less, they weren't trying to make anybody or anything look better than they were. It's like, I heard from the players that I interviewed and all that is, look, we got to change this. Like I put in the article, we're 6-7 until we prove that we're not a 6-7 team, even though we think we're better than that. And so they got to do that. The whole I like the fact that I think there's some value in what Coach Dez said about, lunch may take, 98 to like 100% of the first team snaps. I think there's some value there. Good. I still wish, and I asked Coach Leger about it, and he said they're going to throw to the back some. I think they need to throw to the backs more than just some, and we'll see how that plays out. And those are the things that everybody I talk to raves about the running back room. Now, we all know that running back rooms are largely dependent upon offensive line play, and so they've got to get the offensive line play straight. But everybody I talk to, they just rave about the running back room.
Okay, I mean, some of my comments. First of all, beyond throwing to the backs, it sounds like they're going to throw to the slot guys a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they're going to want to try to get their closing, their pass percentage up. I think 75% is a stretch goal. If they could get to 65%, they're going to be happy, or 66 compared to last year.
Yes.
But one thing I caught there, they actually are now recruiting true slot receivers versus taking XY guys and Z guys and moving them to there, like they did on the Napier. So that's going to be interesting. Defensively, I caught what to me is a little bit of a conflicting statement. They talked a lot about we've got to stop the big play, like we gave up way too many last year, and everybody knows that. But at the same time, they said they're going to be more aggressive. And sometimes, if you're aggressive, you're going to get moving so susceptible to the big play. So
but that you got to have cornerback and safety play, and their cornerback and safety play was just terrible at times last year. And so they're basically saying that we think Avery Demery's going to be better than what they had last year and when he wasn't playing. And so we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen. They're talking high about Avery. Interviewed Avery yesterday. Seems like a really nice young man, and we'll see how well he plays. And their safeties have got to play better. And the scary thing is, they're not going to be all that seasoned at safety. Now they're not going to be green either. Like. Some of those guys, like Rennell, got a little playing time, But even a guy like Colin Jacob, who's been here forever, most of that has been as a special teamer, and then he played a little bit last year, then he got hurt. So that they don't have a lot of experience in the secondary, but they're gonna have to play much better.
Yeah, Cody Jackson's the guy I think has got a lot of talent. He was in and out of the lineup last year. I actually think he was better than Skipper at times. So having him be a starter could be a positive. As far as the running backs go, I went to the spring game. I think the Gardner guy has smoother runner I've seen here in a long time. My concern about the running backs is how are they going to do in pass protection? When you have green running backs, that's a big issue. And I've heard that's an issue with Gardner. Is that a concern to you as well?
Yeah, I think it could be an issue with Gardner. Yeah, he's got to get better. But I think the other two are good at it.
Okay. And as far as the special teams goes, I didn't like hearing that Bryn Gordon's a potential punt returner. I think that guy's way too valuable to put him as a potential punt returner.
Well, I understand that, but I'm also okay with putting your best players to do it. But I tend to agree with y'all, but I don't know that he'll win the job. But we'll see what happens. I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. No, again, I like most of what I heard. I think the special teams last year was not good, and the punting has got to get much better, and that they're confident that it will be, or they sound confident that it will be. I think at times the coverage was good, but at times it wasn't. There's no question the special teams need to get better, and hopefully they will. You're talking about new holders and new snappers, and who you don't know what you're going to get out of that. And hopefully it's good. 2 years ago, the snapping was a disaster, and you had this All-American style holder, Dalen Cambry, and he made it work. But you don't know that you're going to have an All-American holder. Your punter's your holder, and we haven't seen him yet. I think the other thing that's a concern, and we talked about that yesterday, and we mentioned that a little bit at Media Day in New Orleans, is that they've got to find a third tight end. Because if you don't have a third tight end, it limits what you can do on offense. Like, you can't do a whole lot of 12 personnel. I mean, you can do some, but if one gets hurt, then what do you do? And Caden Jensen is, Caden Jensen is one of my favorite players in interviews that I've ever had covering the Cajuns. He is really impressive to talk to. But he's also big, and he seems to get hit so hard all the time. And if they go low on him, he's had his fair share of injuries. And so, they like Brock Chappelle, and Caden Jensen's good. They don't have anything like a Terrence Carter, or at least anyone ready. They might have a body type or two like that, but they don't have a player like that. And they went out and they addressed that a little bit in their most recent. They've got some tight ends coming in that aren't here yet, but in terms of that they've got committed, so they're addressing that issue. But if they don't get, whether it's Golick or one of the you guys, if they don't get a third tight end, that's going to limit what they can do in terms of playing 2 and 3 tight end sets. So we'll see how all of that plays out. It's like I've said many times, it's easy to say we're going to do all, have all these route trees and play all these slot receiver routes and way of doing things. And I'm all for it. But you got to be able to execute it, and you got to be able to block it. And so we'll see. That's a lot of new. A lot of new. A lot of new things they're going to be doing on offense. Not just new players and new starters, but new schemes, new philosophies. And, sometimes it takes transition. And, last year offensively was mostly a disaster show. Most of that was because of injuries. We get that. But they've got to be able to stay healthy, and then they've got to prove they can do all that new stuff at least pretty well early on. It doesn't really matter how bad you get beat at USC, but Like, we all thought they were going to beat Rice, and they played awful on offense, and they did it. And so, no, they've got a lot of work to do. They've got a lot to get done in camp, no question. But the thing that's so scary is last year, the team that they thought they were going to be at the beginning at camp, a game or two in, they were a completely different team, and they weren't prepared for it, and they had to reinvent themselves like 2 or 3 times on offense. It was really a rough season. Like Coach Dez has said, if they didn't have good character leaders on that team, there's no way they'd have won 6 games. They'd have won like 2 games or 3 games. It'd have been really ugly. We'll see if they can avoid all of that this year. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
With storm season here, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana Sports Station. Mid-South Power Solutions in Crawley brings you these hurricane safety tips. Make sure to secure your home and bring in outdoor items before the storm makes landfall. Have an emergency kit stocked with food, water, and medications. Know your evacuation routes ahead of time and listen to local authorities. Stay informed with a battery-powered radio. Make sure you have fresh batteries. Remember, safety is in your hands. These hurricane preparedness tips are powered by Mid-South Power Solutions in Crawley, your local Generac dealer. Visit midsouthpowersolutions.com.
ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Ready to transform your backyard into the summer paradise you've always dreamed of? With Duplessis Builders custom gunite pool packages, we make it simple to own a stunning, long-lasting, in-ground pool built just for you. Choose from classic designs, all customizable to fit your space, style, and budget. Our pools come with quality finishes, energy-efficient equipment, beautiful lighting, and professional installation from excavation to decking, so you can dive in before the next heat wave hits. Don't just dream it, build it. Visit DuplessisBuilders.net.
It's a great time to get out on the water, and Black's has you covered. Black's Outdoor Marine is Acadiana's Tohatsu Outboard and Low Boats headquarters. Tohatsu Outboards are reliable, affordable, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Black's has low-interest financing and can handle your outboard or mud motor repair. Stop by 1423 Northwest Evangeline Thruway in Lafayette or call 337-233-4272. That's 337-233-4272. Black's Outdoor Marine, serving Acadiana since 1968.
Whether it's a tempting text message or a quick glance at your GPS, taking your eyes off the road for just a moment can have serious consequences. This includes turning around or reaching down. Distractive driving includes eating or putting on makeup. Distractive driving is anything that diverts your attention from driving. I'm Lorraine Luquette Vinoy with Service Chevrolet Cadillac, encouraging you to drive smart, drive safe, and keep those eyes on the road, Acadiana. This message is powered by Service Chevrolet Cadillac and this radio station, where safety meets style on the road.
It's 9 a.m. You just received a voicemail from your boss.
Hey, Janet, heads up. We got an important meeting coming up Thursday. The big guys are coming into town, so I need you in charge of lunch, and we've got to look good.
Luckily for Janet, she knows a place, and she knows her boss will be impressed.
Honey Baked Ham can cater your next event. Delicious and freshly sliced deli trays, box lunches with sandwich, chips, and dessert. Or try our fresh salad boxes and the perfect touch with a meat and cheese tray. Honey Baked Ham Company.
Imagine a place where wellness, luxury, and community come together. Welcome to City Club at River Ranch, Acadiana's premier private club. Enjoy a state-of-the-art fitness center, exceptional tennis and pickleball programs, resort-style amenities, and a vibrant social atmosphere. Whether you're pursuing your fitness goals or expanding your social circle, City Club offers an unmatched member experience. Visit cityclubatriverranch.com today. City Club at River Ranch, where lifestyle meets distinction.
You're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station, and your home for the LSU Tigers.
Welcome back to Footnotes. Again, we actually going to have a little more time for phone calls. We won't be able to. Dawson's the boss now, as I'm sure y'all have heard. So sometimes he's going to have boss duties, and so we'll have a little more time for phone calls in the 10 o'clock hour than we were thinking. So if there are any of these subjects you want to get into, we certainly could do that. I mentioned when Mike called and asked about impressions from yesterday's UL Media Day. One of the players that everyone you interview talks about how mature he is and how good he is and how advanced he is running back Darrell Smith. And we heard that last year. I've never seen Darrell do anything to make me think, man, I was terrible. Never. But I've also not seen the evidence on the field that the players and coaches have seen on the practice field that he is. Now, he was essentially a part-time player as a true freshman. I'm not anywhere near ready to say, well, he's overrated or anything remotely to that. It's just, I think it's going to be one of the things that I'm going to really be looking forward to when the season starts, is to see that Darrell Smith that everyone keeps talking about. I mean, again, it's one thing to say good, positive stuff about a player, but the way they talk about him is like it's a different level of maturity, a different level of preparedness, a different level of understanding the game that you just don't ever hear about freshmen or redshirt freshmen. You just hardly ever hear that. And so it's going to be interesting to see if we can start seeing more of that on the field in games. Again, it's one thing to see it in practice, one thing to see it in a scrimmage. That stuff, you take with a grain of salt. I mean, you got to go through all those processes, no question. But it's going to be interesting to see it in the game. Another player, and I'm thinking more about Mike's question, another player that I've always liked and I've always enjoyed interviewing him, and he certainly has played well at times, that there was some, talk like this could be kind of a breakout year for a couple defensive players. And one of them is Ashley Williams. And I think I like him, and I think he can, be really good. And so we'll see how that plays out and whether he can be that impact player that they're thinking he can be. And they need him to be that player, no question. They need him to be that player. And there are other players that you just you see them and they show you a little bit, and yet it just seems to never get to that point that you hear about their full potential. And so he's one of the ones that you want to see it. I've told y'all already, Tito Chicory, I think he's going to be one of the players I'm also very excited to see the progress that he can make and whether he can do what they say. We didn't talk about him as much yesterday, but at Sunbelt Conference Media Day, Connor McPherson is the young linebacker they are really, really, really excited about, like maybe NFL-type talent, kind of like they just lost with Duggar. And so, again, those are some players that it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them play and see if they progress. Chase Edwards is another one. A lot of people think he's going to have a big year. We'll see if they can fulfill that. 1 hour down, another hour to go. Stay tuned.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3 gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then Contact Us tab or 337-519-3563.
August 15th is the date for the 12th annual Fête du Teche boat procession down the Bayou Teche. The day begins with Mass en Francais with Bishop Desitel at 8 a.m. at St. Leo's Church in Leonville. The boats then depart for a Eucharistic boat procession ending in St. Martinville. Register your boat today or find out more information at fedudetech.org or by liking their Facebook page. Don't miss the 12th annual Fête du Détech, Saturday, August 15th.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit number 1.
MeTV is America's #1 classic television network.
There can only be one number 1, me.
MeTV features over 60 of the greatest classic TV series each week.
Go with the winner.
Enjoy dramas, comedies, westerns, sci-fi, and more.
You just watch me.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
Need peace of mind with your estate planning? Turn to Bill and Hebert, your trusted Acadiana hometown lawyers. At Bill and Hebert, we make estate planning simple and stress-free, ensuring your legacy is secure and your future is in the right hands. Don't wait. Schedule your consultation today at BillHebert.com. That's BillHebert.com. Safeguarding your tomorrow today.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros bounced back in their series with the Toronto Blue Jays with a 7-2 win last night in Space City. On the mound, Hayden Wesneski put together a solid performance, going 6 innings and only allowing 2 runs on 4 hits with 4 strikeouts. The Astros and the Blue Jays will meet again today for the rubber match, and it'll be Dylan Cease on the mound for Toronto versus Hunter Brown for the Astros. First pitch is at 1:10 this afternoon, and you can listen to it right here on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. The college football preseason coaches poll was released yesterday, and as expected, the top 5 is dominated by the Big Ten and the SEC. The top 5 in order goes Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Notre Dame, with LSU and first-year head coach Lane Kiffin sitting just outside of the top 10 at number 13. Keeping with LSU, who officially begins practice today, several Tigers have been named to preseason award watch list. Offensive lineman Jordan Seaton has been named to the Outland Trophy watch list, and on the defensive side of the ball, linebacker Whit Weeks and defensive end Prince Will Umamielen have been named to the Nagurski watch list. And Louisiana native and horse racing legend Robbie Alvarado passed away yesterday at the age of 52. Alvarado was one of the most accomplished jockeys of his generation, winning more than 5,000 races during his career. He also became one of the greatest riders in Churchill Downs history, ranking 4th all-time in wins at the track with 1,192 victories. I'm Blake Persher, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, certainly feel free, 706-0111, 706-0111, as we enjoy at least I'm enjoying anyway, a victory last night. Astros, a much-needed victory. Just such a disappointing punch in the gut Monday, mostly from the trade deadline, but also a little frustration. The game was pretty frustrating in that you had a couple pitchers who pitched well, didn't walk anyone. You only gave up 3 runs. It wasn't like they got totally lit. And you didn't win, and you didn't come close to winning. Well, I say that. You stranded about 15 runners, so you could have won. You just didn't. You're not always going to get those 2-out hits. That's why I just feel like 2-out hits are great It's just I've never had the baseball mentality of counting on 2-out hits. I don't like having to count on 2-out hits to win games. And yet the Astros have been the best in baseball this year at doing that. You just wonder how long that's going to last, having to count on 2-out hits over and over and over and over again. And you're not always going to come up with those. I mean, the Piper doesn't let you do that. And so it's a strange, it's a crazy world they're living in, no question. And hopefully they can keep doing it for sure. You know, I've talked a lot about in the recent weeks, since in the last, 2.5 months, the best records in the American League are the Red Sox, the Tigers, and the Astros. And the Red Sox won again last night, and they won in an awful way. They scored 14 runs. We'll see. They've been on such a jag. I don't even know what to say about the Red Sox anymore. Still, they're 5.5 back though. It's almost like they were down. It's almost like a basketball game where they're down by 30 and they've just cut it to 5. And you still got some game left to play. We'll see if they can keep this up. But they're 5.5 out in the division. Now, in the wild card, they're obviously not. In the wild card, they are in it. Like they're in the second spot right now in the wild card. So, you know, the Astros would be, if they weren't leading division, the Astros would be in that spot, in that next, that third spot. But the Rays last night, they went out and got Freddie Peralta on Monday. I like Freddie Peralta. Always have. I've had him on my fantasy team more than once, and he normally pitches pretty well. He went to the Mets, and he's had an awful season. And he pitched last night, and he got crushed. Now, he got crushed at Colorado. A lot of pitchers get crushed at Colorado, to be fair. But it's also got to be a little bit of unsettling. Now, the Rays he gave up 7 runs in 3 innings. So the Rays came back and won the game 9-7. So that's to their credit. But how much is Peralta going to be able to help them? We'll see. I know I did a lot of whining and crying and gnashing of teeth yesterday, and I was bitterly, and I'm still bitterly disappointed what the Astros didn't do, what they did and didn't do at the trade deadline. But it is also true that just because you make a trade that looks good on paper, usually in late July, in this case in early August, doesn't mean it's going to work out. Doesn't mean that. Like a couple teams made for pitchers that weren't as well known, those pitchers could pitch better than Peralta. Those pitchers could pitch better than Mize. And we don't know how it's all going to, we think we know, but we're not always right on that stuff. Just because you got the best grades on trade deadline day doesn't mean that those players are going to work out better than everybody else's acquisition. So you still got to play the game. We understand that. And so that'll be one to watch. They need innings out of Peralta. McClanahan is nicked up again. He went on the IL. So they need innings out of Peralta. And the Rays are having a fabulous season. They've got, what do they have? 67 wins. They got, one of the best win totals in the league. The Brewers have the best record in baseball right now. They have 70 wins. So they got a lot of wins, but they've got, the Yankees are only 3.5, and the Red Sox are only 5.5, and the Red Sox don't look like they're not wanting to lose too much of late. So we'll see how that plays out. By the way, the Tigers are only 4.5 games out of first place. The White Sox have been losing. The Guardians have been losing. I still think the Tigers, even though they traded Skubal, and even though they traded Mize, I still think the Tigers are going to win that division. The Tigers have scored 8 or more runs in 6 straight games, which is crazy. How crazy is it? They've never done it in the history of their franchise. And this ain't some expansion outfit. I mean, I don't know when the Tigers' first year was, but they're at least 120 years old. Like, they've been playing forever. The Tigers are one of the, it seemed like they were playing in the 19th century. They were certainly playing in the first decade of the last century. And so you're talking about a team that's a franchise 120, 130 years old, somewhere in that category, in that range, and they've never done it before. It's just crazy. It's just baseball is just so cool. I mean, there's so many of that kind of stuff that's going on all the time. It really is incredible. All right, let us head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
And, Kevin, 2 years ago they traded Florida and they still made the playoffs.
Yeah, and it can I still think that, and I don't know what happened to them at the beginning of the year. They got off to an awful start. Look, I picked him to go to the World Series. And I'm like, this might be my worst prediction. And I picked the Red Sox to win the division, and I picked the Tigers to win the division. And I was like, man, this might be my worst predictions ever, but they don't look so bad anymore. We'll see what happens.
Kevin, you ever heard of that ESPN reporter, Graziano, I think he is? He goes and visits all the training camps and just basically tells how they do the practices and everything. You've heard of this cat, have you?
Oh, have I not? Have I heard of him? Every time I see him, I just want to throw something at the TV screen. He is the most aggravating announcer. I think he's my hardest announcer or analyst or commentator to watch. I mean, he is my toughest one. I mean, he aggravates me to no end. But go ahead.
All right. Well, he went to the Rams camp, and he reviewed the practice, everything, and he talked to McVay. This year, the Rams are doing their special team drills at the middle of practice instead of the end because he wants it to emphasize more for them to have muscle memory, brain memory for the special teams. And the cat that got the special team guy that got from Detroit, he's a big thing about making as much as his starters play on the special teams than other special team coaches. Man, that is music to my ears, Kevin. I would take the Rams having a step back on offensively just for them to have one of the best special team units. And if that happens, I'm going to be a happy man.
Absolutely, and you're right, and it's so important, and it's the least discussed biggest thing, and it's also something the Saints have been miserable at special teams for decades. And there was a few years there, 18, 19, 20, they got pretty good at special teams, but for most of Casper's time, they were just miserable at it. And I'm hoping for an upgrade there as well. It makes a big difference. Think about it. You've lost a lot of games because of bad special teams in the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, I mean, it cost us a Super Bowl last year, Kevin, plain and simple. Plain and simple, it cost us a Super Bowl. So, you figure if you fix that and fix that really good, your team just has to be kind of like status quo it was the year before, and you should be all right. You should be. But, injuries get derail that. But I'm so excited about to see how their special teams work, buddy. Have a good day.
All right, take care. Well, we know because the national media is already the Rams are already, in the Super Bowl. They already, when they announced that Aaron Donald's playing, I was told that they could get anybody could go be the defensive coordinator, and they're going to be the best defense in football. It's just that easy. That's all you got to do. You go out and get a high-profile defensive player of the year type guy, and you get another one. It's just easy. They already in the Super Bowl. They're going to win easy. Whew, man. We'll see how all that plays out. But no, if you're not rooting for the Rams, and include me in that number, it is not good to hear that they're putting emphasis on special teams. It's kind of like, you remember when Alabama was winning a lot of games, and they ended up fixing it, but for a while there, their kicking game was terrible. They'd recruit all these players, and their kicking game was terrible. You don't want to hear a good team fixing the little things like special teams. And no, I don't want that. By the way, the cheaters open with the Rams. And you know me, I've hated the cheaters more than any team. It's from the 80s and 90s. I've said it before. I don't really hate Shanahan. He kind of aggravates me every once in a while with stuff that he says, but I don't really have anything against him. And I don't really have anything against their team, right? You know, I kind of like the way they play football when they're healthy, to be honest with you. But that's a sins of the fathers thing. But so I haven't rooted for them since, you know, the early 80s. To be fair, when I was young, I hated the Rams more than the Cheaters because in the 70s, the Cheaters were just a team. I mean, you know, the Saints played them and they beat them sometimes and they lost to them a lot of the times, but Saints weren't very good in the 70s. But there was no hatred to them. I mean, they were just a team, just like every other team. But I'm saying all that to say, man, by the time we get to the opener, I'm going to be so sick of hearing about the Rams. I already am. And how the season's over. And, you know, I hate all that stuff. And they're playing against the cheaters. I don't know. I have to think about that one. Might be the first time I pull for the cheaters in like 40-something years. I mean, might be. I don't know if I can pull the trigger on it. I certainly ain't watching that game. I mean, you want to talk about disgusting matchup. The Cheaters and the Rams. And what an awful job by the NFL to put that game in a preseason game spot. Awful. All right, let's head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Hey, Kevin. Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to wish you, I know it happened over the weekend, but happy belated birthday there. I was going to call Monday, but I don't know, after hearing the disappointment with the Astros trade deadline, I didn't think it was a good idea. But anyway.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you had a go, man. But no, just kind of echoing some of the other sentiments from today. I heard you earlier talking about the kicking game for the Saints, and I'm really excited about the punter upgrade is going to be massive. But I do agree with you with Charlie Smith, and the other thing about him, besides making me nervous on field goal attempts, you realize how bad he was on kickoffs last year. As far as hitting that zone, you know.
Yeah, I am not. I am really worried about him.
So what do you think's going to happen now? You know, so they've penciled in Barry Brown as the kickoff return guy, but all reports are that he's been having trouble seeing the ball in the air for punts. So all I want is somebody that can field the punt and fair catch it. That's all I want. I don't care if he doesn't get any yardage, but just don't fumble and don't let it go over your head. Who else could be a punt returner if he can't do both of them?
Well, they have guys, you know, like I thought Pettis was pretty good, but he's not even going to make the team. And so I don't know how they're going to do that.
He signed with somebody else.
I mean, the receiver I don't like, he can return punts, but he's hurt right now. And I guess Ty Chandler theoretically could, but I don't know if he's going to make the team either.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, that's I'm sure there are guys that have done it in college, but I thought for sure Brown would do, you know, handle both. And maybe it's just a temporary thing. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. But I tell you what, I'm just really excited. I was looking again. You know, it's only 5 days into camp, so it's hard to get a true read. But this rookie class really has me excited. When I'm hearing Jeremiah Wright, you know, and how well he's doing when he's in there. And I would just love to see him supplant Cesar Ruiz, you know, and Christian Miller, I think, is going to bring a lot of energy to the defensive line. And I don't know. I even think Lorenzo Styles has a chance to contribute at safety. I'm really pumped, man.
I think it has a chance. Again, like you said, extremely early. We won't know for about another 2 years. But it has a chance to be the best back-to-back drafts in the franchise history. No question. So I'm trying to hold off, but I am with you on that. It's very, very, very exciting. Appreciate the call, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome to the 60 Club.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Take care. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The annual Fête du Teche boat procession will be floating down the Bayou Teche on August the 15th. Thousands of people come every year to celebrate their faith and South Louisiana heritage. The day begins with a mass by Bishop J. Douglas Desautel at St. Leo's Catholic Church in Leonville before dozens of boats depart along the Bayou Teche in St. Martinville, retracing the voyage of the Acadians over 250 years ago. There are many stops along the way for people to pray and give public witness to their faith. For more information, visit fedduduteche.org.
Make sure to set your alarm and tune in Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock for Sports Shorts here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Join me, Ronnie Rance, and the Sports Shorts team of Tommy Christsan, Hunter McCann, and the crazy man, Joel Davis, as we break down the sports and teams that you love. The LSU Tigers, New Orleans Saints, and everything in between. Tune in Saturday mornings from 10 to noon for Sports Shorts here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate a lower tax bill. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts. But you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will fight for you using industry secrets that can stop any IRS actions, eliminate penalties and interest, and reduce your past tax bill so you pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor now for a free IRS audit emergency review. 800-281-0266, 800-281-0266, 800-281-0266, 800-281-0266.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
You're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call, it's about pretty much the last time to do it, 706-0111 if you would like to get in. Again, we've talked football and baseball. We're going to talk a little horse racing because it's some bad news that came yesterday with our friend Mr. Tom in the next segment. But it's again, this is the part that I'm talking about when we count down to football season. Football season is here, sorta. Teams are practicing. The colleges have all reported. Cadence and teams all over the country are going to practice today for the first time. College pro teams are been practicing for a little while now, had 5, 6 practices, some of them probably up to 7 or 8. We're only about a week away where teams are going to be start holding these controlled scrimmages against other teams. And we're about to have the Hall of Fame game and the Hall of Fame weekend, so it's here. And we're hearing things, and we talked about quite a few of the things that we're hearing and kind of the names that we're hearing, like Blackman, talking with someone last week, like Saints fan, like, when was the last time you even thought about Blackman? And Julian Blackman being healthy could be one of the most important things that could elevate the Saints this year into a level maybe a little higher than some people are thinking they could be. But he's got to stay healthy. Like, he would have helped them last year. I wonder where the Saints, again, that's one of the things that's so fascinating when you think about it. If Julian Blackman had been healthy last year, where would Sanker be right now? Like, I'm not saying he wouldn't have played, because he would have certainly played a lot of special teams or all the special teams. But I don't know how much defense he would have actually played. Maybe some, but maybe not enough to be where he is now, which is replacing Alontae Taylor. So it was bad that Blackman got hurt. It's really important that Blackman not get hurt this season, I think. I'm not saying if they lose Blackman, their season's over, but he's one of the guys that if he's good, it can really elevate the team. Like, he could really – because Ree was a little disappointing at times last season, but I think we know that his floor is pretty high. Like, he's going to at least be pretty good. And in his second year in the system with a new coordinator, chances are he'll figure it out and be even better than he was last year, even when in the games that he did play pretty well, or stretches that he played pretty well. And so if Blackman can elevate and be healthy and play, I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys that if they play really well, I think could elevate the team to pretty good levels. And it's exciting, but again, none of it means anything other than the injuries. None of it means anything just yet. It's going to mean something to our eyes and our personal judgment as fans and media members when they actually play a preseason game against another team. But none of it means anything just yet for sure. Again, it's easy to talk about doing something, but that doesn't mean it's going to play out that way on the field over the course of a season. It does make you, however, feel good about when you hear your coaches and your players saying, we got to do this, and you've been complaining since last season about you got to do this. I mean, so it we'll see how it plays out. I mean, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said my biggest concern for the Saints is the kicker, and other than health, obviously, and I still think the kicker is the biggest concern. Would it be great if you draft a rookie and he takes Cesar Ruiz's spot? Yeah, that would be exciting. I think most of us would be really fired up for that. But I think Cesar Ruiz, if the other four guys on the line are healthy and playing to their potential, I think they can play winning football with one guy that may not be as good as he should be for where he was drafted as a first rounder. So we'll see on that. Yesterday we were talking with James, and he mentioned Bub Means, and I mentioned earlier that I think how the Saints do sort out the wide receiver depth might need to be more about need than talent, might need to be more about need than skill set. And maybe Bub Means might make the team when otherwise he might not, because, he's got a little bit of size to him. Like maybe he could be Vele's replacement. Because who else is going to be Vele's replacement? I mean, theoretically, Polk could have been Vele's backup player. More of a 50-50 ball, play physical. That was going to be Polk. And so maybe is Means the next guy, even though most of us didn't even think he had a chance. Now with Polk not being there, Means might need to at least be on the practice squad to be kind of Vele's backup if they need him to be kind of a thing. So, no, those are the interesting things through camp that for someone who doesn't put a lot of emphasis on what the quarterback's doing and what the defense is doing and all that in these inter-squad little practices and 7-on-7 drills. But kind of sorting out the depth chart could be really big. And another name that people don't mention, we mentioned Christian Miller early. The Saints acquired Ridgeway, and Ridgeway played pretty good at the end of last season. And so I know a lot of us have talked about Christian Miller since the injury to Brazil. But Ridgeway's another guy, and Godshaw just for a pure defensive line numbers standpoint. But Ridgeway might be a little better than some of us are thinking. I'm not saying he's a star or anything. I don't know that Brazil was a star. I mean, Brazil's had some nice moments, but I don't know that I wouldn't consider Brian Brazil a star. Now, the one thing about Brian Brazil, while I'm mentioning this before we go to the next time out, one thing about Brian Brazil that I meant to mention when he got hurt, and I never got to it, is I'm a big special teams guy, and we were talking about special teams earlier in the hour. Brian Brazil was really good at blocking field goals. Like, he's done that a couple times. So that's one thing they're going to miss about him for sure, is he does a really good job in coming close and blocking field goals and blocking field goals on the kickoff field goal coverage team. And so that's something I don't know that they'll be able to replace. And you say, well, that doesn't happen often. No, but when it happened, I mean, it won a game 2 years ago. I mean, they would have lost the game at the Jets, but he blocked the field goal, and because of that, they won the game. So that's something they're going to miss from him. And I think it's going to be easier to replace what he does as a defensive lineman more than it's actually going to be easier to replace how good he is on special teams. We'll see how that plays out. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros bounced back in their series with the Toronto Blue Jays with a 7-2 win last night in Space City. On the mound, Hayden Wesneski put together a solid performance, going 6 innings and only allowing 2 runs on 4 hits with 4 strikeouts. The Astros and the Blue Jays will meet again today for the rubber match, and it'll be Dylan Cease on the mound for Toronto versus Hunter Brown for the Astros. First pitch is at 1:10 this afternoon, and you can listen to it right here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. The college football preseason coaches poll was released yesterday, and as expected, the top 5 is dominated by the Big Ten and the SEC. The top 5 in order goes Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Notre Dame, with LSU and first-year head coach Lane Kiffin sitting just outside of the top 10 at number 13. Keeping with LSU, who officially begins practice today, several Tigers have been named to preseason award watch list. Offensive lineman Jordan Seaton has been named to the Outland Trophy watch list, and on the defensive side of the ball, linebacker Whit Weeks and defensive end Prince Will Umamielen have been named to the Nagurski watch list. And Louisiana native and horse racing legend Robbie Alvarado passed away yesterday at the age of 52. Alvarado was one of the most accomplished jockeys of his generation, winning more than 5,000 races during his career. He also became one of the greatest riders in Churchill Downs history, ranking 4th all-time in wins at the track with 1,192 victories. I'm Blake Persher, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. Drew Brees set a new standard for quarterback play, and now the Saints legend will be immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. RP3, D'Lo, and Mesh will be there for this historic occasion with a special 3-hour live broadcast from Canton, Ohio. Tune in Friday, August 7th for the Gold Standard. Presented by Beal & Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers, right here on ESPN, 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Need peace of mind with your estate planning? Turn to Bill & Hebert, your trusted Acadiana hometown lawyers. At Bill & Hebert, we make estate planning simple and stress-free, ensuring your legacy is secure and your future is in the right hands. Don't wait. Schedule your consultation today at BillHebert.com. That's BillHebert.com. Safeguarding your tomorrow today.
And now time for the Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Ever wonder why bugs seem to love your home as much as you do? One big reason: moisture. Roaches, termites, and ants are drawn to damp areas. Check under sinks, around windows, and in attics for leaks and excess moisture. A little home maintenance goes a long way in keeping pests out. Got unwanted guests? Call Sugarland Exterminating at 337-367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com for more information.
Sugarland Exterminating. Pest-free environment we're creating. Spiders, roaches, rats, and mice. Those awful termites are not so nice. Get rid of all your pests right now. Call Sugarland Exterminating.
Termites, they're here. They're invasive. They can destroy your home if left untreated. Sugarland Exterminating has been in business for over 50 years, and they have the experience to effectively treat termites. Call 367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com.
And that has been your Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Looking for a spotless workplace? Variety Janitorial Services is your go-to. For office cleaning to stripping and floor waxing and carpet cleaning, your commercial space will look its best. Their reputation for perfection has grown throughout the entire Acadiana community. They deliver top-notch service with a commitment to excellence. Daily, weekly, or deep cleaning, trust the experts. Visit varietyjan.com today or call 337-298-8704 for a free quote. Variety Janitorial Services. We clean, you shine.
It's hurricane season, and Mid-South Power Solutions wants you and your family to be prepared. Protect your home from sudden power outages with a Generac automatic standby generator, the industry leader. Installed by the experts at Mid-South Power Solutions, the Generac automatic standby generator start up during power failures, keeping your home powered until the local utility restores service. Remember, installing a standby generator is not a do-it-yourself project. Mid-South Power Solutions factory-trained technicians meet the highest standards. Don't get caught in the dark. Visit Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley or at midsouthpowersolutions.com. Mid-South Power Solutions. Your power, our priority.
You're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
Welcome back to Footnotes. It is time to talk to our horse racing expert friend, Mr. Tom. And this is one time I wish we weren't having to talk because we got the bad.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on today.
Tell us about Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie. Robbie Alvarado is a Lafayette native, and he's been in the business for 31 years. He started in 1990 at the old Evangeline Downs in Lafayette, where I was there that night he won his first race, by the way.
Wow.
But he had a heart procedure up in Saratoga. He was riding exercise riding for Kenny McPeak, who's the trainer, and living at his house, by the way. And they had a stent put in. Things with your heart, and he passed away in his sleep probably early Tuesday morning. And
he's one of, I don't know how long the list is. You know the number. There's been so many Hall of Fame caliber jockeys from South Louisiana.
Oh yeah.
What like when you think of him, did he have like a specific riding style or what was unique about him?
Let me tell you how good he was. For 50 years, 3 jockeys dominated in Churchill Downs. One of them was Pat Day, the other was Calvin Burrell, and the third one was Robbie Alvarado. And that's that's quite a thing. 34,000 races, 5,000 wins, won at a 15%, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. So I'm thinking probably that'll be soon. I don't know where he's going to be buried, but I assume it'll be here in Scott with his mother and father.
All right, so. When was the last time he raced?
He raced in 2021 was his last year that he was active jockey, and for the past 3 or 4 years he's been an exercise rider, and that's what usually happens. Calvin Burrell did that, went into exercise riding when they retired, so that's what usually happens. They don't just quit unless they just are infirmed. But, they continue to ride.
One of the things that I don't think some people think about is how dangerous it is to be a jockey. And he had some pretty bad falls in his career.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't had serious injuries as a jockey, you probably aren't that good a jockey. What I mean is that it usually it's the roughest, toughest game around. I mean, pro football players have equipment. Jockeys have vests and helmets, and that's it. And they can be thrown off the horses at any time and hit the ground, stepped on, all kind of stuff. And these guys weigh 100 pounds, so you gotta be tough. That's all there is to it. You gotta be tough.
So, the process for going into Hall of Fames, how does that normally work?
Well, they have to be voted on. And usually you can pretty well tell what's going to happen. But in Robbie's case, he's sort of borderline, when you talk about Hall of Fame. But I guess now, at this particular point, dying at this age, I guess it will be in the next few years, they'll probably put him in the Hall of Fame because he certainly deserves it. He won 2 Preaknesses, rode Curlin, one of the best horses we've ever had. Rode Swiss Skydiver, a filly to win the Preakness, and did a whole bunch of things. So just a really good jockey. 15%. That's ridiculously good over a lifetime.
All right. So is there 1 or 2 races that stick out in your mind when you think about Robbie?
Well, yeah, certainly riding Curlin in the Preakness and riding with Skydiver in the Preakness. Those 2 were Swiss Skydiver, the filly. I mean, that was really a great ride that day. But Curlin, I mean, I could ride Curlin. I mean, just saying he got to ride one of the best race horses we've ever seen.
He also won some Breeders' Cups, right?
Oh, yeah, I think he won at least 2. I can't remember. I believe he won on Curlin and one up, but I'm not quite sure. At least 2. But that brings me next, if we can get onto it, why there will no longer be a Triple Crown.
Because?
Well, for one thing, Pimlico is being redone. I don't know if they tore it down, but it's being refitted. And it won't be open till 2028. But the other thing is Churchill lost Maryland won the intellectual property rights to Preakness, so they can run it wherever. I don't know. Laurel's uses a training track. Now, I'm not sure Laurel's going to be open, but I guess it will. But they can run it anytime they want. But they're going to try to run it in that same sequence, But NYRA, New York Racing Authority, and Churchill got together and they've come up with a plan to have a 6-race, 3-year-old championship series starting next year with the Kentucky Derby the first Saturday in May. So there'll be a 6th race that doesn't include the Preakness. This is the big thing. It doesn't include the Preakness. Now, the Triple Crown may be run next year as a Triple Crown. I mean, that sounds confusing,
Yes.
but it may be since Preakness will be running. But since most of the Kentucky Derby winners over the past 3 years have passed up the Preakness because it's too close, I'm assuming that'll happen again next year, especially with that 6th race of whatever his championship series that they've named.
Right. All right. Well, we're talking to Mr. Tom because of the very unfortunate news that Robbie Alvarado died. So am I missing someone? Like, who's the next? Like, you talking about he might go in the Hall of Fame. Like, who is that the last? Or who would be the next local South Louisiana Cajun jockey that could be a Hall of Famer?
Well, there's a couple of them in there, but there's one riding right now, little Brian Hernandez, but he's riding. I suspect that'll happen in the next 15 years or so. He's still riding, and he's riding at a high level. There's a couple of riders that are in, like Kentis Armo and Shane Sellers and Eddie Delahousie. And riding in this area, I can't think of anybody right now that's been retired enough times and been long enough that would happen.
Well, it's pretty obvious that, I mean, the news hit you pretty hard because you've been following him so long. And like you say, you saw his first win in Evangeline Downs, all those many, many years ago.
Oh, many, many years ago. But, the new 6th race series does not require that a horse race in all 6 of these races. And they're all available now. One of them is the Derby. The other will be the Jim Dandy at Saratoga, the Travers at Saratoga, the Matt Wynn at Churchill, which is also being run now, the Belmont Stakes, which will be included as well. The new Belmont Park opens on September 18, and it is a Taj Mahal. It is a wonderful place. It looks like Ascot, and nobody here seen Ascot in England. If you've ever seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But it's going to be open. It's going to be open in a month, a little over a month, when they close Saratoga.
All right.
And then, of course, the 6th race they're going to add at Kentucky. They don't know what the name of it is yet, but they're going to add that 6th race.
Okay, so before I let you go, old school guys like Robbie, would they like this news thing you're telling me about, or would they be against it?
I think jockeys are really would be really pleased with this. Our biggest problem is every year we try to figure out who the best 3-year-old is. That's been the biggest problem. Is that if you had 3 different winners in the Triple Crown, you didn't know how to compare them until they got to the Breeders' Cup. This 6-horse series is supposed to name the best 3-year-old before they get to the Breeders' Cup, which doesn't necessarily mean anything at all. But you know how things are with championships.
Yeah, they love to declare who the best is. Well, look, we appreciate
exactly.
Yeah. Appreciate your time. All right, I know you're busy with horse racing, but our Astros are winning, so you got to pay attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, listen. I think they didn't make those trades because they felt like they were in the weakest division and that they could win the American League even if they didn't do it.
Well, yeah, but the Astros are supposed to be about trying to win the World Series. So I don't know. I'm still very disappointed.
With the team they got there right now if they get a few breaks. But I think I'm with you. I wish they'd have made at least one big move.
Absolutely. All right, sir. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll take a timeout. We'll be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Drew Brees rewrote the NFL record books and helped the Saints win a Super Bowl victory. Now, number 9 is about to slip on the gold jacket, have his bronze bust revealed, and be immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. RP3, D-Lo, and Mesh will be there live from Canton, Ohio to witness it all with a 3-hour special. Tune in on Friday from noon to 3 for the Gold Standard presented by Bill and Abe, Acadiana's hometown attorneys, right here on ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
The best businesses aren't just businesses, they're neighbors. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Brobridge Truck Stop Casino. They have the newest games around. Hot seat drawings and monthly specials like no one else. Located on the Brobridge Highway and on the banks of the Vermilion River. Come out today and try your luck at the Brobridge Truck Stop Casino.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local, certified South Louisiana. It's a great time to get out on the water, and Black's has you covered. Black's Outdoor Marine is Acadiana's Tohatsu Outboard and Low Boats headquarters. Tohatsu Outboards are reliable, affordable, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Black's has low-interest financing and can handle your outboard or mud motor repair. Stop by 1423 Northwest Evangeline Thruway in Lafayette or call 337-233-4272. That's 337-233-4272. Black's Outdoor Marine, serving Acadiana since 1968.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard, aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Imagine a place where wellness, luxury, and community come together. Welcome to City Club at River Ranch, Acadiana's premier private club. Enjoy a state-of-the-art fitness center, exceptional tennis and pickleball programs, resort-style amenities, and a vibrant social atmosphere. Whether you're pursuing your fitness goals or expanding your social circle, City Club offers an unmatched member experience. Visit cityclubatriverranch.com today. City Club at River Ranch, where lifestyle meets distinction.
August 15th is the date for the 12th annual Fête du Teche boat procession down the Bayou Teche. The day begins with Mass en Francais with Bishop Desitel at 8 a.m. at St. Leo's Church in Leonville. The boats then depart for a Eucharistic boat procession ending in St. Martinville. Register your boat today or find out more information at fêtedudeteche.org or by liking their Facebook page. Don't miss the 12th annual Fête du Teche, Saturday, August 15th.
Helping you get through your workday. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Welcome back to Footnotes. Again, appreciate Mr. Tom coming on. And obviously he was pretty emotional, and it was one of the many jockeys from the area who has, been a national, international star, and as he said, may get into the Hall of Fame. And it was unpleasant news to hear that yesterday. Well, it's Wednesday, and a lot of times on Wednesday, and sometimes on Thursday as well, it's kind of what they call getaway days. And so you have afternoon games. The Astros are part of that. Astros will be the first team throwing a first pitch today, as we talked about it almost 2 hours ago at the top of the first hour. The Astros will play a 1:10 game with Hunter Brown against Jamison Taillon against the Blue Jays, trying to win this series and kind of keep the momentum going. We'll see how that plays. Jose Altuve is now down to the 6th hole. And last night, Jeff Blum said something that, maybe there could be some truth to it. I've never said Jose Altuve is a bad guy. In fact, he's a great guy. And I think when he's failing and hitting 220 and stuff like that, which he's never really done in his career and constantly not getting it done, I'm sure it's eating at him and he's feeling the pressure and he feels bad because he wants to do what's good for the team and all of that. I totally believe all that. And the comment that Jeff Blum made last night was that, that to him, when they move Altuve down to the 6th spot recently, that it looks like his at-bats, he looks like he's playing more freely and maybe less pressure on him. And I don't know. I know I said I don't think they'd hit him 9th because they have too much respect for him and everything he's done. But even going down to the 7th spot, one, I think if he does pretty well, it lengthens your lineup. And two, if he's really was feeling that much pressure and if it will allow him to relax more, then it'll be even better. I think he's had multi-hits 3 games in a row hitting in the 6th hole. So it's probably maybe they need to even consider moving him to the 7th hole if he's okay with doing it from an ego standpoint. And I don't think that's an issue with him. Might take some pressure off of him and continue to do good. It's just 2 games, so I don't want to blow it out of proportion. But it sure would be nice to see Dalton Varsho do something. It'd be nice. He's gotten a few little infield singles, which are good to get, but it doesn't mean that, you're seeing the ball or anything. And so he's been awful this summer. Like when they picked him up, since the beginning of June, he's hitting 217. Like it'd be nice to see him do something. And so today's another opportunity. But also obviously be nice to see Hunter Brown do something. By the way, shortly after that, the Punks will play at the Cubs. It's getting to be some strange bedfellows here. I don't often root for the Cubs. I don't often root for the Braves or the Cardinals or all the old rivals from their National League days. But against the Punks, I'll root for them. And so I hadn't rooted for Bregman too much since he left Houston. He went to Boston, who was, in the American League, and then he went to the Cubs, and and so I haven't done a whole lot of rooting for Bregman, but I was glad he hit a ball to right field and Icky misplayed the ball to a double. So I'll pull for him against the Punks. So it's kind of interesting. Also in an afternoon game, the Rangers had lost 5 or 6 in a row. They came back and won yet. Well, they had a lead, and then they tied it, and they came back and won against the Giants. Tampa's playing at the Rockies, and Mickey Moniak had 3 hits and a home run last night. And Mickey Moniak hit a home run the day before, too. And I've been wanting Mickey Moniak on my team for 2 years, and it doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. But anyway, got to move on from that. And so my point is there's some interesting matchups going on. And you've got the Marlins are playing the Braves, and the Red Sox are playing the White Sox, and they're just crushing the ball again. So we'll see what they can do. And then the finale of the Cardinals-Yankees series. So there's some really nice Wednesday matchups, including some in the afternoon. So we'll see how that plays out. If the Astros can get this win, again, it would allow them to win another series, keep the momentum going, because I think it's going to be tough to win more than one in San Diego. So it would be huge to get that win this afternoon. We'll see if they can pull that off. Y'all have a nice day.
Imagine building your dream backyard pool without ever leaving your couch. With Duplessis Builders, you can go shop our in-ground gunite pool packages online, start to finish. Browse our pool designs, compare features, see exactly what's included, and choose the package that fits your style and budget. Once you